To public comment. Those wishing to speak must state their name and address for the record after they are acknowledged by the board chair. Each person will be limited to 2 minutes to make his or her remarks. Speakers will address all comments to the board as a whole and not one individual commissioner. The board may not take action on an item presented during the public comment period unless the item is already on the agenda for action. When appropriate, the board may refer inquiries and items brought up during the public comment period to the county administrator for follow-up. And as a reminder, if you're here for public comment, we would ask that you step up to the podium so that you can be heard. With that, any public comment?
Melissa Zimmerman, 2525 Stony Creek Drive. I saw in the packet today that we have a grant proposal going out for the Safe Streets for All. I just wanted to say thank you guys for looking into improving the road safety. I'm hoping this can maybe lead to some lower speed limits, alternative transportation, improved signage and education. Surrounding communities have found that with lowered speed limits, the accidents have been greatly reduced, so I'm hoping potentially something like that could happen downtown to prevent further accidents. While the state may set the speed limits, the county can petition to have them lowered, so just something to consider. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you, Melissa. Is there any other public comment? No public comment, we'll close the meeting to public comment. No correspondence in our board packet. And just a consent agenda, that's items 5 through 10, board's wishes.
I'll make a motion, we approve the consent agenda as stated.
I second that.
Motion is second, is there any discussion? Opposed, same sign. Approve agreement with Canadian Pacific Kansas City Railroad for crossing improvement at Southeast 18th Street, page 103 of your board packet.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, members of the board. This is an agreement that's been long in the works here, many up and downs over the last, it's probably 4 years now that I've been working on this particular project and working with the railroad here. This is an agreement that we have finally worked out with the Canadian Pacific Railroad here. Just some, I guess, some historical background just for understanding of this. Yeah, like I said, I've been working with the railroad for over 4 years now. We had some pretty significant issues coming to a design agreement with the railroad and then Minnesota Department of Transportation back in 2022. Eventually got the city of Owatonna's mayor great help getting the governor's office involved, the transportation commissioner, Nancy Doggenbauer. And we finally got past those issues. And we were almost had an agreement. I believe Greg brought a draft agreement to you back in the spring of 2023, just before our construction project started out there. And we gave a tentative approval pending review by the county attorney. And unfortunately, that agreement had a bunch of as part of their exhibits, their normal language for one of the biggest issues was we're moving the crossing 100 feet, and that's considered a new crossing, which opens up a door for them, I guess, to significantly add liability language that was not in our favor at all. Basically, in layman's terms, if the railroad was at fault, we were responsible for it.
Forever and ever.
Yeah. That was a significant stumbling block, and we've been, through previous attorneys here, we've been working with a firm that had some experience with railroads, and unfortunately they weren't able to significantly provide a significant amount of relief for us there. But throughout this process, we continued exploring other options. So we finally, the railroad actually had brought this to an attention. The government affairs official finally suggested that there's this federal program that basically puts all the liability on the feds and takes it off the county and the railroad's hands. So working through the MnDOT rail office, we were able to get into this program. It's Section 130 project so MnDOT was able to dedicate a small amount of funding just to put it in the program. We're still going to pay for most of the work as we had anticipated, but we just got MnDOT to just put some money into the program so that we could be part of the program. So with all that, we now have this agreement in place, which is a pretty routine surface agreement, which will allow us to move forward with construction here. We've had similar agreements to this in other, like the County 49 project, it was almost the identical agreement. And then there will be a second agreement, that'll be a three-party agreement between MnDOT, the rail, road, and then the federal side as well, to install all the railroad signals and gates and so forth. And that'll, again, put that liability onto the federal side of things. So major forward step forward. So yeah, staff is recommending approval of this agreement here, and looking forward to getting this thing done.
Mr. Chair, I'd like a motion to approve the agreement with Canadian Pacific Kansas City Railroad for the crossing improvement on Southeast 18th Street.
I will second that.
We have a motion, Commissioner Brady, a second, Commissioner Krieger, to approve the agreement with Canadian Pacific Kansas City Railroad for crossing improvement on Southeast 18th Street. Any further discussion or questions for Paul?
Mr. Chair, one more comment, I'm sorry. What you had in your packet was a draft agreement. We did get the final agreement here with the cost estimate. As expected, did come up a little bit more. They've updated it since, what was it, 2 years ago. It's now $121,120.98.
Surprised you didn't come up with it now.
Yeah.
I will just add, before we go, kudos to Paul for sticking with us and getting this through.
Yes, thank you, Paul. Thank you very much.
You keep these jobs up and your hair is going to be as wet as mine pretty soon.
So can we get a copy of that agreement? When
And it is ready for signature when, after the meeting, if you can take it.
All right. Any other discussion? Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. All right, next up is number 16, adopt a resolution for safe streets for all funding to develop a comprehensive safety action plan, page 111 of the board packet.
The department's preparing a grant right now to request $250,000 from this discretionary program to develop a comprehensive safety action plan. The federal government's got some significant funding available to vastly improve upon our safety programs here. As you know, we are currently in the middle of updating our county road safety plan. The last plan was developed back in 2012, and with that plan, we've been able to apply for some significant federal funding in the last 5 years. Not sure why we didn't do more of it beforehand, but in the past 5 years, we've gotten a lot of money from the county road safety plan, doing everything from chevron signing better, doing our showing where the curves are in our system. We got a lighting project coming up this summer here. We did some shoulder improvements, rumble strips throughout the county, a lot of low-cost, high-impact type of safety improvements with that previous plan. We are now working on updating that plan. And both of those plans focus a lot more on the infrastructure improvements, the things that we can do on the infrastructure side of things, the engineering side of things. Unfortunately, engineering the roads is only one small aspect of county or highway safety. This federal program is recognizing something called the safe systems approach. It recognizes that deaths and serious injuries are unacceptable. We unfortunately see a couple deaths every year and countless serious injuries just in our county system here, and that's certainly not unacceptable. It also recognizes humans make mistakes, humans are vulnerable. Responsibility is shared amongst all of us, all people, and not just engineering, but enforcement, emergency services, hospitals, and so forth. And our industry's really changed in the last couple of years, going from a reactive, looking at a map and saying where are all the crashes happening and see where the big dots are showing up. We're looking at a lot more proactive systems now, seeing how we can prevent the accidents from happening in the first place. And building redundancies in the systems to bring that safety a lot better. So the objectives of this program have safer people, safer roads, safer vehicles, appropriate speed limits, the education and enforcement of those speed limits, and if needed, the post-crash care. We've been working with our Toward Zero Death coordinator here in the throughout this. We have a Toward Zero Death program that we meet regularly with, and we've been working with our emergency management director here, Christine here, and making things to improve on that. So this is one program that could be bringing a lot more energy and aspects to that. This grant here for right now, the $250,000, would just fund putting together a plan, an action plan of things that we can do, and different things that could be considered in this plan. Everything from continuing the low-cost safety improvements that we've been working with, the county road safety plans, doing things like complete streets, things that we can do to design roads that are better suited to all users, not just cars and trucks, but pedestrians, bicyclists, and so forth. Safe routes to school programs, bike networks, speed management systems, and even public outreach, enforcement potentially. A lot of different aspects, more than just the engineering and infrastructure side of things. So some pretty awesome things that we can bring to the table, and accept that the community as a whole is involved in safety, not just the engineering and the road construction side of things. So with this grant, we would fund that, putting together that plan. And with that plan, then we can makes us eligible to apply for additional grants to get the funding for those other types of activities. So it does require a 20% commitment. We are applying for the maximum amount at this point. We'll have to obviously send out an RFP and see what consultants come in at as far as what that cost might be, but we're applying for the full amount here. So a 20% commitment to that full amount is $50,000. So we can incorporate that into the next county highway improvement plan here. So,
Mr. Chair, I'll make a request for the grant application of $250,000 for the Safe Streets for All funding and development of a comprehensive safety study action plan.
So you're offering the resolution? So resolution's been offered by Commissioner Nemi. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Second, Commissioner Krieger. Any discussion or questions for Paul?
Mr. Chair, Paul, now you're talking about these, this would be a package of safety practices. Now, when you get this package of them, does that mean we're we have to do them all, or can we still pick and choose?
we could pick and choose. It's putting together a plan. We'll certainly have a lot of input into that. I'm hoping you got the email from me last week for the county road safety plan. We've got a big workshop coming up in September that you all have been invited to participate in. We'll be having a lot of safety representatives in the industry, from engineers to law enforcement, emergency management, and so forth. And I imagine putting together this plan would be a very similar type process. So.
I just want to make sure that by voting for this that I'm not locked in totally, because I know we'll have this lighting at crossroads, different county roads through the county, and I'm not 100% sold on the idea everywhere. Some places need them, because even with the grant money, once you put the lights in, then the maintenance can be ours forever. So that's the part of it.
All right, any further questions? So the resolution's been offered and seconded, no more discussion. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Resolution passes.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Greg out, Kevin and I are tag teaming this, so.
All right.
Let's get it.
In good hands.